Civil War is a brand new 2024 film starring Kaylee Spaney, Stephen McKinley Henderson. I wanted to get those first two out of the way so I wouldn't forget them. Wagner Moura and Kirsten Dunst. And this is directed by Alex Garland. Basically, it is a war film for all intents and purposes, but it's definitely a day in the life kind of film. It's heavy with the action, and Alex Garland, sorry, is known for directing Men as well as Ex Machina and Annihilation. Now, when it comes to his filmography, I enjoyed Men more than the other two for sure, and I would say so far this one is his best work. I had a very good time with this film. It's a very disturbing depiction of its subject matter for sure, much more than I actually thought it was gonna be. And what we have going on here basically is we follow these journalists which are making their way from New York City to Washington, D.C. in order to have a final interview and final photography kind of picture session with the president because there's a military union coming from the states of California and Texas who are basically wanting to take the president down. And this seemingly is going to take place extremely soon, and this crew of journalists wants to get a word with the president before all that goes down. Now, the biggest thing that I've been hearing about this film when it comes to reviews is that this film avoids politics completely, and that is definitely true. I don't think the words right or left have been spoken in this film at all. They definitely don't talk about anything like red, blue, any kind of presidents. They don't mention anything in real life. This is a complete fictional world, but they don't talk about, the start of the conflict or what led to the conflict. They just briefly mention even that California and Texas are united, which is kind of strange to think about that in real life, but I think this film really wanted to separate itself from anything going on in the real world, and it certainly 100% wanted to separate itself from sides, and it doesn't pick one, and it remains completely neutral. I mean, there's a lot of films that kind of take on both sides equally. I think the film The Hunt did that very well, where it picked on both sides 50-50 kind of thing. Whereas this did the complete opposite. It just is 50-50 neutral. Like, nothing is even talked about when it comes to choosing right versus wrong kind of thing. A lot of scenes are very intense and very raw. For example, there is one scene where like a guy will be lit on fire, and you do see that for a good 5 to 10 seconds. Like, they don't shy away from stuff like that. The Jesse Plemons, yeah, that's how you pronounce his last name, I think. That scene is certainly extended from what you see in the trailer, and it's deeply unsettling. The biggest takeaway I have from this film, and my favorite aspect about it, hands down, is the sound design. The sound design in this film, if I don't see it getting any talk when the Oscars roll around for 2024, I will be extremely surprised, because the gunfire and the sounds, like, I was in the theater, and my theater, I jumped often because they will very, very commonly go from complete silence to gunshots and intense moments, and I jumped quite a few times, and everything sounds so realistic and so disturbing, and they play with a lot of silence and quiet too, which is very well done. So sound design wins the top prize for this film, in my opinion. Definitely. The whole film is spliced with photography as well, because you have these journalists taking pictures of everywhere they go, and it'll show like half a second of pictures, really great looking pictures too, and I really liked that detail that they added to it, because it's literally capturing each moment that these characters are in. And the way I look at it, it totally gave the director of photography something to amplify his or her own skills on when it came to the movie. And I found that phenomenal as well. I like every time they enter a dangerous situation because of how intense they always made it. There's one inside this like abandoned falling apart building kind of thing where they're all on the sidelines taking pictures, and there's this brutal battle just going with these people just shooting back and forth with each other, seemingly fearless. Like, you would think they're shitting their pants, and they probably are, but they seem to mask it all right. And I mean, these journalists are just, their job is there to document the situation that's going on and make it public. Their job is to not to pick a side. Their job is certainly not to provide medical aid, because none of them are medics. They're literally just taking pictures, and it's crazy the situations that these people put themselves in. There's a sniper situation where neither side of the snipers even know why they're shooting at each other. They barely even know if the other person is an enemy. There's just like, oh, well, they're shooting at us, so we got to shoot at them kind of thing. This film does show a little bit of pockets throughout the United States of America also that are not involving themselves with the Civil War, which is very cool. There's one part where they drive through a town and Wagner Moore is like, did we just like travel through a time portal back in time or something, because everything's completely normal, the grass is green and everything. They go into a store and the film almost kind of takes a break from the violence, and they're having this like humane moment with each other and with the store clerk and everything. So I thought that was cool, but that lasts like 10 minutes and then they're right back into the violence. The climax of this film is absolutely intense when you get the shootout, and like when they make it to DC and you get just crazy war torn stuff going on there. The last 5 minutes of this film just didn't work for me. I'm not going to talk about it at all to avoid spoilers, but decisions were made when it came to the direction and the plot of the film and the writing of the film that was 100% just a 180. I really have to think about the reasons why. There's probably intentions to do it that way, and if I were to think about it for another few days, it would probably make more sense, and even with another viewing, it would probably make more sense. But I just was so shocked and taken aback by certain things that happened and decisions that were made that not only was I not expecting, but they really were completely out of character. When the credits started rolling, I was like, huh, that didn't seem to work very well. And even just like the final occurrence that happens too, I didn't really understand it. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind with more viewings and more thinking about it and everything, but everything else about the film was absolutely phenomenal. This feels like a zombie movie without the zombies. Like, this feels post-apocalyptic completely in its tone and the way it's shot, everything. It literally feels like so many zombie movies that I've seen without the zombies, with humans being shitty instead. It conveys its story and it conveys its world extremely well, but it totally removes itself from any explanation. It's just a fly on the wall's view of a situation that's going on where you're the fly and you don't know how this happened. It just is. And that kind of portrays the job of a journalist really well, and I can totally understand and I can totally buy that decision. Certainly way more than, like I said, the last 5 minutes of the movie and those decisions. But I just really loved how raw this film got. And I loved all the performances. I totally bought Kirsten Dunst and Kaylee Gagne. I'll write her name down. Her, and I know she played Priscilla in the movie Priscilla, and I know the other guy's name, Henderson. I've seen Henderson in so many other films. I don't know why I always forget those two actors' names. Wagner Moore is great. I've seen him in a couple Brazilian films. He's a Brazilian actor. He's really good. He also played Spider in the film Elysium by Neil Blomkamp, the one with Matt Damon. That was a really good film. Him as the leader kind of the group. I'd say Kirsten Dunst and him, definitely, they're both leaders. They're both kind of equal when it comes to being the driving force that keeps this team going. And I think this film won in so many ways, but it's that sound design that is on the top of the list, and I just love how this film, like, it's like they created this sound design like a science, and that was the biggest takeaway, and it's very disturbing. I have never seen so many people who don't deserve to die in this movie. I've never seen so many people who are completely innocent and completely at the wrong place at the wrong time lose their lives like it's done in this one. Everybody who deserves to die the least dies. Like, it's just collateral damage to its absolute maximum. And, it's very heavy. It's very hard to watch. I felt it in my heart a lot throughout this film, but I couldn't deny how well this film was made. So that's what I got. This video is going way too long for a spoiler-free review, but there's a lot to say about this film. I wish I could do a full-length spoiler review, but it's way too early for that. I just suggest going to see it, and It'll make an impact, if anything else. I personally didn't buy the last 5 minutes, I would say, but everybody's different, and I would love to hear other opinions on it. But it's good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 at the end of it. So that's Civil War. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you'd like to listen to my voice or if you like my film reviews. I will be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.